Jamie Kennedy, always been a friend to me. Started from the bottom, then he rose to fame steadily. Came to Hollywood, got a job at Red Lobster, slinging crustaceans, swimming in Alfredo pasta. The cheddar bay biscuits, yeah, they were limitless, but the role he really wanted was in show business. But he had no representation, running out of patience, so he decided he would play his own agent. Good afternoon, this is Marty Power. Work started to pour in like a thunder shower. Romeo and Juliet, Randy Meeks and Scream. JKX on the WB, he was the most wanted man in Malibu. And that's around the time I linked up with dudes. So sit back, enjoy, but don't relax, cause it's Jamie Kennedy on my musical podcast. Welcome once again to Eric Schwartz Makes You a Mixtape. I'm Eric Schwartz, and I'm about to make you a mixtape. This podcast is years in the making. I recorded these interviews back in 2019 and 2020. That's why the information is old, but the podcast is brand new. So if you want me to keep doing this, if you think it is worthy to keep going, what you need to do is feel like this is your podcast, baby. Because that's what a mixtape is. It gets passed around on the street, and word of mouth is the most powerful word because it comes from your mouth, which is very powerful. If you want to be even more powerful, you know what you could do? You could leave a review. Yeah. It's just the more reviews we get. Haven't you ever gone to a podcast and you go like, there's only like 4 people reviewed this. I don't know if I want to listen to it. But if 4,000 people reviewed it, you'd be like, hey, this is worth it. Follow me on social media. Eric Schwartz with 3 E's on Instagram, EEERICSCHWARTZ. It's pronounced Eric Schwartz. Same on TikTok. If you want the regular spelling of my name, Eric Schwartz, you can find that on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Now, of course, today's episode is with comedian and actor Jamie Kennedy. Jamie and I go way back. One of my first gigs I ever did, I was a host of the WB's college tour. And at the time, JKX, that's the Jamie Kennedy Experience, was huge. It was probably the #1 show on television. That was the precursor to Punk'd. Dog. Jamie Kennedy is a pioneer. Now, some of his credits: Scream, Romeo and Juliet, Bowfinger, Malibu's Most Wanted, and more. And it's so cool to hear this because Jamie has his own really successful podcast now. It's called Hate to Break It to You. I feel like this was maybe part of the inspiration for him doing his own podcast in the future because he wanted to say things that he now does say all the time on his podcast. So get ready. Jamie Kennedy, I'm about to make you a mixtape.
I don't know why I thought you were a vegan.
You know what? I was thinking about that last week and I was like, I got to say this on stage. Where, like, people just assume I'm a vegan. What is it?
Yeah, because you're clean, dude. But you don't drink, right?
I don't drink.
I haven't drank in a year and a half.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, yeah, I'm not, like, sober, but I feel better. I did it to look better, but...
Wait, you're not sober, but no. You haven't drank?
No, I mean, I'm not, like, in a program.
Oh, I got you.
I haven't drank.
Okay.
But I'm not, like, I just did it for health reasons.
Okay.
And I haven't really had the desire, and I don't want to do it now.
That's awesome.
Because I don't want to... But have you ever drank?
I've had drinks before, but I don't drink. Like, I don't like... It just makes me feel tired.
See, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I don't drink.
Yeah.
You don't drink.
I don't drink.
You don't smoke.
I don't do... And you've never done a drug?
Yeah, you never done a drug.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I think, like...
Do you drink coffee?
I drink a little coffee. I try to stay with tea if I can. And I try to... If I don't need to be awake, like, and alert, I'll just... not drink any. I won't have any caffeine. I feel like maybe I have an addictive personality. Is that it's why? And it's like I don't want to start with it.
Hey, you just look young.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you, DARE program, for scaring me.
For a vegan.
Yeah, well,
you're not a vegan.
Plant-based. Have you ever tried veganism?
I tried a lot of vegan food. Can't be a vegan though.
Yeah, I don't know if it's for everybody. I think like everyone's body type is different, or your blood type, or
yeah.
Like I think everyone's different, and I think like people who are like try to force veganism on you,
yeah,
like I don't know if that's really for everybody.
Yeah,
I think everyone's diet is going to be different.
When's the podcast going to start?
Oh, we haven't started. We're just starting. This is the vegan podcast.
I did that joke. I was like on stage and I did like 20 minutes. I go, show's going to start soon.
You sound like you used your
This is
voice a lot
early.
last night. Is it
I
early?
did. Well, no, I did, dude. I'm so tired, and like I did the show last night. And it was pretty good, but like, you ever do a show where you feel like you want to kind of bring your energy,
Yeah.
but the audience wants you to be, and I was like 70% of my energy, so I felt like a little tired. I'm just beat down.
Yeah. Did you have like a rough few weeks?
Yeah, I've been on the road. I got 2 more shows, and then I'm gonna be done. 2 more weekends.
And it's been tough. It's been tough, like getting to the. I mean, I just did a bunch of travel as well, and like I was super jet lagged. I think today's the first day that I kind of rebounded. But how do you handle it, man? Like, how do you? Because you're going weekends in every city, and then when you're here, you're doing spots all night.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. It's like a crazy time, right? Like, it's like, used to be like, we would do shows on the weekends and take off during the week, you know, and now comedy is so hot, and you gotta be everywhere, that you can play a huge weekend show, and then you gotta be in town just to be in the mix, and the clubs are so hot, and all these spots I'm getting, and I'm like, I gotta do them.
That's what, dude. When you said that, like all these spots I'm getting, that reminds me of what I love about you is that I knew about you when I first started comedy, because I would see your name on the marquee of the Hollywood Improv.
Okay.
And I didn't know who you were, but I was like, man, this guy gets up all the time. But you've been so consistent all the years till now. Like, where you just love doing comedy.
Yeah, like, I honestly, dude, I'm at a place where, if I can be philosophical with you, it's like, it's the only thing I can do. You know what I mean? Like, comedy is the only thing that has been consistent for me throughout my life. If you think about that. Like, Hollywood movies are great, but they love you, and then if you get cold, they make you work for you again. TV, it's a similar way. They like you. It's like, oh, what have you done for me lately? Comedy is the only community that has always invited me in. Even when I was starting out, it was a little tough, but once they saw I had a little spark of something, they have always invited me in.
When you say that,
that's incredible.
The community. We really, even more recently, I think we kind of take care of each other.
Like, I feel now, probably since in like maybe the last 4 years, because of Netflix and podcasting and social media catching on, I feel like the community is like what you just said, a community. And it was no more apparent this week than the Christmas parties. I don't know if you went to any.
I did, yeah.
But the improv Christmas party, I didn't go to the other two, and I love all clubs, but I wasn't in town, and the improv Christmas party had everybody.
Really?
And all types of comics, all different places, and it was great. And I was like, well, this is such a great mix of all people that you see at this club and this club and this club and here. And I mean, they all come to the improv or the factory or the store, but it was a beautiful mix of, you know, famous, unfamous, beginners, you know, road guys, road women. And I thought, and it was great. And everybody was chill.
The community, like,
it was beautiful.
I didn't notice it happening. Like, I think you're right. Podcasting, we realize we need each other. You know, like, we realize that I was early on into like the YouTube and content. And one of the spirits of that world is collaboration. So it's like, if you have a like audience with somebody, it helps you both to do a collaboration. And I think that's what people are doing with podcast. They're realizing that, comedians are realizing, like, let me do fun stuff with like people that have like audiences or people who have unlike audiences, and we'll expose ourselves to each other's audience. I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it's a different time. It's like, you know, coming up when you would see, you know, like you said, that billboard.
Yeah.
You know, you would see Nick Schwartz, me, and Jimmy Fallon. I mean, that's a great billboard.
Yeah.
And we were all cool with each other. I mean, Jimmy was on SNL at the time. You know, Nick was a known, up-and-coming, like, hot comic. You know, I was in movies. So everybody had their own lane. You know what I mean? And Jimmy was also doing movies too. So, but we were all in our own working element. Mm-hmm. But back in the day, if you're showcasing 10 comics for one spot, it was like, I gotta kill, which you still have to kill, but it felt like there was this squeezing narrow tube of like, can I get in, you know? And now, since you can create your own lane, it doesn't mean your lane is going to be NBC huge, but you can make a living as an entertainer, like a supervising manager at a Walmart.
Right.
Like you can make that was a pretty good analogy.
I was listening to you. I'm like, that's exactly why.
But you can be like the night shift manager at a Walmart, have a nice living. You probably won't get the benefits. You can get the benefits if you're in SAG and if you get a couple of TV spots a year, but you can probably make a nice living, be somewhat famous, traveling the country, doing one-nighters of your own, maybe middling for a more known person as you're working up, and be very successful.
That's what you should aspire to, is be the night manager of Walmart of comedy.
Because, because think about it, it's like, it's actually beautiful though, because it's like,
you can eat.
You can take the mystery out of it, because I've seen so much, dude. I don't know if I've seen everything, but I have seen a lot, and it's just like, it's all doable, and it's not as glamorous. It's great, but it's like everything's a facade. You know, you think you're gonna become successful, and you can be, and you think you're gonna be happier, you're probably not gonna be. You know, and you think it's gonna be this and that, and it's like, if you just, that's where I'm at in this place now. I'm 49 years old, and like, I really just like to go up and express myself. And that makes me feel good.
That's
you know
awesome.
what I mean?
I want to ask you about that, because you said two things that I really want to ask you about. First is the facade. How, like that, what is the facade that you notice, and has it changed? How has it changed? The facade of entertainment. Like, what should we not worry about?
The facade of entertainment is like, you know, you drive down and you see these billboards and you see these bigger than life people, and it's like this it's like this hard, it's like this perfect, I think the first thing is like this perfect existence, which I think people realize is not there. But it's like, basically it's like, if you become successful, I don't think you're going to be happier.
Right.
And I think people don't realize it. I think you can make money, and money is great. Money is great for one thing. It makes you more comfortable. It has allowed me to get up at noon to be here
and that's
at 12:30 to do a podcast with you.
12:40.
12:43.
12:43.
I stepped in a puddle. And I think that it's like, it's a rabbit hole. I'm trying to give you the simplest answer, but it's like, you're not going, it's not like, oh, here's a line. Let me jump over it. I'm complete.
Right.
No, you're just over the line with more access to things, and you're still like broken. If you are, you might not be a broken person.
It's not going to fix you.
No.
Right.
But you have to kind of go through all of these things to realize what you're doing it for. So the facade is like, for instance, like getting cast in a movie. That's amazing. And it is. What I'm saying is, I've done enough things now that I know exactly how to make my own movie. I know exactly what festivals to try to put it in. I know the exact guy I have to call, or woman, to try to finagle it to get it in. I know the exact placements you would put, and the reporter to try to get the nominations of, like, there's all these little tricks.
Right.
Where I used to think it was just like, and it's not, and I see everyone goosing the system. So that's kind of what I mean by the facade is. It's not just this perfect kismet Beshert thing.
Beshert.
Beshert.
Dude, thank you for the Hebrew.
Yes, it's the second day.
Yeah, second day of Hanukkah we're recording this. I appreciate it.
You know, did that make sense?
Yeah, and I think once you realize there is that facade, you can relax into what you just said and just saying the things that make you happy, that make you express your true feelings. And what I've noticed
the night manager job.
The night manager. You can be the night manager.
Mm-hmm.
What I've noticed though about the evolution of your comedy, when I first saw you, and we got to talk about how we met and all that stuff, but when I first met you and watched your comedy, versus now, you've become so much more honest about what you really feel.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like and I think that happens to a lot of people who are in it for a long time, that you realize you're so talented with voices and characters, and that's what you started with. But now I think you've evolved to what you said, which is telling your innermost thoughts and your feelings, but you still are able to incorporate that talent with it. Like, how did you describe that journey of like how you evolved? And
I'm going to try to give you the simplest answer. So, like, the first thing is so many people get into this business, you know, acting, singing, dancing, whatever. The first thing you have to do, and it takes people to realize this, I want to ask comedians, like, why are you doing it?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing it for? And you have to be honest. And it doesn't mean you're going to hit now. But for me, I was doing it because I wanted love. I wanted attention. I wanted validation, 100%. It wasn't like the love of comedy. It wasn't like I studied the greats. It was like, yo, man, I'm like lost. And I want love. And when I came out to LA, everything that was considered weird about me in Philly, not that I was always weird, people really liked me, but they also thought, other people thought I was crazy. I remember going to Venice Beach and being like, watching Michael Collier. Remember him?
I know Michael.
The OG.
He gave me a lot of opportunities.
And the beach show, the guy who did it himself, did a beach show, did stand up on the beach.
Yeah.
And I remember just watching him, blown away in like 1991.
Yeah.
Getting $1 from each person, killing it for 30 minutes at the beach. And I'm like, I was in an acting class at the time, and I did this scene, and it was so weird and crazy. And this woman came up to me, and she's like, "You want to have coffee?" And I realized that like everything that was considered weird was considered beautiful in the creative space, right?
Right.
So I went and I did it. I said this in an article recently. You tell me if it is. It's like there's like 6 levels to comedy, and the first is like, you have to have the courage to go on stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to get their attention. Then you have to keep their attention. Then you have to be funny. Then you have to make them think. And then you have to change the way they think.
Right.
And the last one is like Carlin and Pryor and Chappelle and where they're at. Like, you know. And I think the first whatever years you're doing it, I was a perfect monkey, right? I'm like an entertaining, like clapping, you know, like I can do voices, I can do impressions, so that's what I did. I was an entertaining thing. Mm-hmm. And then that's how you survive, you know, it's war. You gotta go up, be funny for 6 minutes. There's 10 other comics that are great. There's you, there's Gary Owen, there's Ian Bagg, there's all these great comics, and you're like, I gotta keep up. Mm-hmm. And then as you evolve, you're like, okay, I did that. If I'm going to keep doing it, what am I going to do? And then you start incorporating what you really believe. Mm-hmm. You're not just the entertainer. You become more of this thinker. And what I do is I try to take my skill set, which, you know, is digestible. So if I do a dark subject, but I use a funny voice, mm-hmm. It makes it more swallowable.
Full of sugar.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Like I did this joke about cocaine and how girls do it, but they always end up like Marge Simpson. They walk like, you know, like I sell the whole,
yeah,
and it's like helps. So my what I really want to do is get to that place where I'm just me.
Yeah.
and use whatever I can to help make my point across.
That's so dope, because I think some people would stick with what works. You know what I mean? Like some comics would just stick with, okay, I'm an impressionist, I do characters, and I'm going to do that because that's what's worked, that's my brand. But for you to...
You have to grow.
Yeah, for you to be able to... Exactly.
I mean, the Beatles didn't play Love You, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah forever.
Right.
They kept growing. I mean, it depends on what you want to be. I mean, and I have no problems with people doing the same act. I have no problems. But I did a show last night and I felt like... And it was 70% show. I was good, but I wasn't killer, and I could just tell I'm done with this material now. I want to go to the deeper stuff. And my problem I'm having right now, which is not a problem, is I have a lot to do when I go on stage. Let's say I have 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
I gotta manage their expectations, be who they think I am, work them off of that, go slowly into what I want to do, and then leave. There's six. I have baggage.
Uh-huh.
So, you know what I mean?
Baggage. So is this the baggage that...
Because they want... Huh?
That fueled the, need to be loved when you started coming out? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I mean, I have baggage, when people see me, they think I'm a certain way.
Oh.
So I have to kind of give them that, and then, so they'll be on my side, and then I have to work them into the new Jamie.
Baggage, dude.
Yeah, it's a good thing to have, but I mean, they expect me to rap, or break dance, or just do a funny voice, and if I want to go in there and talk about a deep bit about, heroin or something, they'll be like, what was that? So you have to kind of slowly go, you know what I mean?
Right, they're expecting, they've seen you on Malibu's Most Wanted.
Exactly.
And they, that's kind of around the time when we met, and... we met on the WB College tour.
Yes.
And it was man, that was such a fun time where I was the DJ. It was for the people that don't know, which is everybody.
I was the rapper.
Yeah.
He's the DJ. Oh, snap. You know what that is.
Jazzy Jeff and the Jazzy Jamie.
Tell them your version
and
of
the
it.
Fresh Jew. So I was the DJ / host of this college tour.
The WB on tour.
The WB on tour. We would go out to all these colleges across the country.
Yep.
And it was basically like a pep rally for WB shows. And I would come out, DJ, host, introduced stars from the WB shows. And Jamie was the biggest star at the time. Yes.
I don't know about that.
And you. Bob Saget and you.
It was Melissa Joan Hart, Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina Teenage Witch.
Yeah.
But you had Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
So I'm trying to think what we did. Did I do jokes?
I can't remember. I was trying to tell Peter. I was like, I don't remember if you did stand-up, but I think you might have done a little stand-up.
It was like this. It was the tour. God, there's so much stuff we've done. And we go and we forget it. It's like, you were the DJ. You're like, all right, everybody, gotta make some noise. Right? And so you would bring out Evan and Jaron.
Oh my God.
Evan and Jaron Lowenstein, and they had their hit. Right?
They were the band?
Yeah, they had their hit. And then there was another band that had a hit, and I forget the name, but that lead singer, then you would bring out Melissa Joan Hart.
Yeah.
And she ended up marrying and still together with the lead singer of that band that they met on tour.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, they didn't even ask me to DJ their wedding.
And then they'd bring out me, and I think I would do some B-Rad and a couple of jokes, and then we'd bring out Saget.
Yeah.
And then we would all go back to the hotel, get drunk, see what's up, and then go to the next city.
We do contests. I remember that. There was contest challenges, and but we did it I think it was 2 years I might have done it, but there were other bands because they switched up the bands. It was Evan and Jaron. I remember one called Social Burn, which I don't think they're together anymore. And then do you remember Nappy Roots?
Nappy Roots was huge.
DJ B.
Huge.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I was thinking about? You're bringing this back.
Yeah.
So I was talking to Ari Manis, and he opened for Theo Von the other night at the Wiltern.
Oh.
Over 2,000 seats, and I'm like, dude, the last time I was at the Wiltern, I was interviewing. So when I had my holding deal for the WB in the 2000s before my show, I would interview people. They had their own E. They were trying to be E for a minute, and I was an interviewer. So I interviewed the Pussycat Dolls, Nicole Scherzinger, and Bow Wow. And Bow Wow was playing the Luhrmann. And I remember interviewing him. He was like 10. I'm like, so how do you come up with your songs?
So can you give me advice and be my mentor?
Yeah, it was like, I was thinking, it's crazy because that time, the WB was trying a lot of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so we had our tour, and I loved it. I mean, we were always on the road, you and me.
It was fun. And then dude, I don't think people realize that are newer to comedy or maybe newer to your comedy, how big and what a big impact the Jamie Kennedy Experiment had. It was one of the first hidden camera shows, or was it the first?
No, the very first show was Candid Camera.
Right.
The second one I remember was Totally Hidden Video, which I got the PA on one day. There was another one that NBC did.
There's one on Spanish language TV called Lente Loco.
Lente Loco.
Yeah.
Then there was one, Dave Sheridan had one on MTV, Buzzkill.
Okay.
It was a mix of mine. And then I was kind of like the fifth.
But yours was different because it was you doing characters.
Mine was me because I wanted to do SNL. I auditioned for SNL. I did not get SNL.
So perfect for SNL.
Thank
I could
you.
see you there.
I didn't get it. And I was like really fucking bummed out. And for like a month I had no idea what I was going to do. That's why I started comedy. Besides all the other stuff, I started comedy because I like worked up my characters.
Right.
And I didn't want to do the improv route. Because there was a time where a lot of comics were just getting cast. And I think I was right at the end of that, and because more, if I look back at it, if I would have did Groundlings, maybe a better shot, I don't know. But there was a time where a lot of comics were getting cast. And I didn't get it, and I was like, what am I going to do? Long stories, then I started getting movies and stuff, but I always wanted to do SNL, so like we made a sketch, pretty much, and then I always wanted to be the character, so that was me, and then I wanted to fool people, because I love pranks, so it was like a three-pronger. It was like doing a live SNL sketch with people that didn't know they were in it.
That's cool. That's a great pitch line.
Yeah.
And at the time, nothing like that existed.
Nothing like that existed. I don't think anything like that really has existed since. It's different. Borat is very different. Ashton's is very different. I mean, I hosted it. I helped write it. I acted in it. And I mean, that's what it was. It was like my baby with a lot of help. And we almost went the distance. You know, we went 66 episodes and we did one more season. We went farther.
Syndication.
Yeah, and then we didn't. But it was... like, when it was popping,
dude,
it was people loved the show, and it was a good show. It was my niche.
It was the hugest show on TV. When it came out...
it wasn't big ratings, but everyone knew about it.
Everybody, like... and this is before the internet.
Yes.
So, like, for a sketch or something to go viral in people's minds...
they didn't. They did the tapes. People handed tapes to each other.
Oh, dude, you were like a mixtape video?
Dude, is that not crazy? They handed tapes.
Did they really? They like bootlegged your...
yeah, no, they would go, look at this, and they would go watch the show. People would hand tapes. I would sign their tapes.
Dude.
Isn't that funny?
The early 2000s... was that early 2000s, right?
Early 2000s.
The early 2000s video mixtape trade.
It's crazy because it was like... I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It's a longer podcast in another way, but I've always been a little premature. I'm serious. Like, I was like...
well, some people call that ahead of their time.
And some people call that pre-cum.
I think if you premature ejaculate, you got to start calling it I'm ahead of my time.
I'm sorry, girl. I was ahead of my time.
I'm just ahead of... Wait, not yet. Now.
In the bedroom, with the lights turned low, take it slow, we got the whole night to go. Candlelight makes the dark night a bit more brighter, glistening in the crystal with the sparkling cider. Your lips, your hips, unfertilized eggs. The anticipation takes me over the edge. You finally come in the room so we can become one. Come back tomorrow, I'm already done. I'm not premature.
I'm just ahead of my time.
I'm not premature.
I'm just ahead of my
I'm not supposed to
time.
premature.
I'm just ahead
I
of
know
my
I'm not
time.
supposed to premature.
I'm just ahead.
I know I'm not supposed to be here till tomorrow at 8, but it's our first date. I didn't wanna be late. Well, I can tell you're surprised by the look on your face. But just wait till you see our new house upstate. Cause I already got the ring to put on your hand. Already booked the rabbi and the DJ and the band. You look me dead in the face and tell me to bounce. We were married and divorced before we ever went out. I'm not premature.
I'm just ahead of my time.
I'm not premature.
I'm just ahead of my
I
time.
ain't premature.
I'm just ahead of my time.
I'm not premature.
I'm just ahead.
When I started trading stocks at the age of 5, I wasn't premature, I was
Ahead of my time.
My hairline said goodbye as a young guy. Cause my head is a head that's
Ahead of my time.
Got sick of showing up for work middle of the night. Now I set my clocks late just to be on time. In the first trimester I was in my prime, and I'll take the Grim Reaper's life before he takes mine. I'm not premature.
I'm just ahead of my time.
I'm not premature.
I'm just ahead of my
I
time.
ain't premature.
I'm just ahead of my time.
Not premature.
I'm just ahead of my.
The reason I did the show is because like people like love me in Scream, and Scream was awesome, and I'm so lucky to be in Scream. But Scream was one vertical of acting. It was like movie acting. But you and I would come up in the clubs and stuff, and like I was funny in movies, but there's a difference between funny in a movie and funny in a club, you know. And I had all these other characters, and that's why I wanted to do it. I wanted to show people like this wild other side of me that I couldn't show because I wasn't in charge of a movie. And that's when people really liked it, and then it just didn't. It was just like right at the weirdest moment. Like it couldn't.
Yeah.
Like break, and the WB got sold, and it was just like then it became like all.
I was surprised to see it got canceled, right?
Yeah.
I was surprised. I'm sorry, I know that hurts to hear that, and I didn't mean to say it like
Part
that.
of life.
Yeah.
It's part of life.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No, you know what it did? It opened up another opportunity for
Well, when it got canceled though, I was like, how much longer could I do it?
Yeah.
Because I was like,
people are finding out.
yeah, but then I realized that it was people are so gullible
Yeah.
that I could keep doing that, and it's a testament if I could do it or not to my acting, if I could keep pulling it off. But also, I look at the Family Guy, and the Family Guy is a great home base for Seth MacFarlane's brand.
Right.
And then he was able to do all the other stuff, and I thought, if we had a teeny bit more, I could have had my own hidden camera fiefdom.
Oh, right, and
You know
just
what I
put
mean?
other actors out there.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I mean, because there was...
But it still made a big impact.
It opened up because the B-Rad character came from that.
Mm-hmm.
And it opened you up to Malibu's Most Wanted, which I've heard the story about how, you wrote that with Nick, is that right?
Yeah, I was doing the character. You can see it. I did it at all shows, and then I did it on Late Friday. Remember that show?
That was a stand-up show.
Yeah, I do stand up. And then, Nick saw the character, and he was like, yo, I said, I want to write a movie about it. And he's like, okay. And then he just hit me up. He's like, yo, I think I got an idea for that character.
Yeah.
Very nonchalantly. Hands me 6 pages. They're fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. And I'm like, this is so fucking good. And then I'm like, yo, here's like 100. I'm like,
$100
$100 and like
$100.
a case of beer.
Okay,
So
so
like
like
beer.
100,000?
No. And then
$100.
and I'm like, write more. And then he would just write whenever he wanted. And I'm like, dude, you gotta fucking finish this. This is really good. And so he kept writing, and that's how it started.
But is this true? I've heard him tell this story on a podcast, that at the time, Nick didn't have a computer or a word processor.
No.
Hey, he wrote it by hand.
He wrote it by hand.
And it was like...
He wrote it by hand, and I think I paid somebody to type it up.
Really?
Yeah, he would write it in a fucking book.
That's gangster, dude.
What's gangster is his talent wins the day,
yeah,
right?
I love that.
And so it's like the town will come in and say, oh, I need this writer and this writer. No! Do you know how many unknown people I know that are so fucking talented that I don't need somebody approved by so-and-so? That is the perfect example. Nick was a great comic that people were really starting to know, that was opening. I don't even think he was middling at that time. He was just hosting a lot.
Right.
And he was hilarious. But if you walked into a club, everybody knew who he was.
Uh-huh.
And so the fact that he didn't have a computer didn't make him any less talented. It just shows you. He took a fucking pen
Yeah.
and a fucking pad
Right.
and just wrote that shit out, and it was glorious.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, you just knew it was going to be undeniable that he's
I
going to
love that. I love that because I
Shows you though. People
Yeah.
like think they got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. No,
content.
you gotta have the goods.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you gotta be honest with what you can do.
Yeah.
Because every time, like, if I swear to God, if I didn't need that love thing, which now I'm in a different place with it, and with comedy, but I mean, I'm still there. But if I didn't have, I would say, like mommy issues or some shit, I would be the best manager.
Really?
I would fucking mop this town up.
Well,
I would murder every manager and agent in this town because I know exactly how to deal with talent.
Okay.
I'll accept the craziest person. I'll be blunt with them. I know everything they want to hear, and I know how to get them jobs.
Well, I have 2 moms, and I don't mind sharing. I'm sure they would consult if you know if you need that kind of love. Maybe my moms can help.
And then manage.
Yeah, I have a stepmom and a mom. I also have 2 dads if you need that.
You got that.
Yeah.
No, because the thing is, it's like, I love performing, but like what I'm saying is, it's like, you can never put your fucking dreams in someone else's hands.
It's very true. And I think we do that a lot.
Oh!
I've done it for sure.
Oh, dude, it's the worst. It's like now, I'm telling you, I've hit, like, I have this whole life change. A lot of stuff's happened in the last 3 years, but,
Yeah.
and it's like, really, like,
That's cool.
you have to, like, any investment I ever made, the ones with people never invested, didn't work. It's the people that are invested that also don't want to lose, that believe, worked. Any manager or agent that gets a salary, nah. It's the ones that live and die by your jobs, yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like you need people that believe in you, whether you are hot or you are cold. They believe in smooth E and cultura. You know what I mean?
Cultura, yeah.
It's like, I can't tell people this enough. It's like your vibe is your tribe, and it's like you because there's so many people there's a great saying that says love the art in you and not yourself in art, meaning like don't love going to the premieres and all the perks that come with Hollywood, just love doing it. And it's like there's so many people that just love the fringes and they don't give a fuck. And that's what's fucked up about our business, is that it's a lot of fat.
Right.
And it's just like, let's just get to it. Who's here? Who's creating? Who wants to put out? Who wants to distribute? Let's go. Everybody else, great.
Yeah, you're right. Like that, the fat is also, you could also say it's like the glitz and glamour, or the expectation of it, that facade. I think a lot of people get into show business for the facade, for that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they have no desires.
They don't have an expression that they want to put out there.
Dude, every manager and agent should not get a salary.
You think, base salary. They should
Not at
only
all.
get percentage.
Nothing. You get a wife, you get a kid, sorry. You live and die by your jobs. That's what we do.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So they
No
only get percentage.
salary.
Just percentage.
Yes!
Okay. Just
no salary. Why is that? Why are you even questioning that? Dude, they have to survive. They have to be on the shit with you, dude. They have to be on that plane to Iowa. Last week, I took a plane. Where the fuck did I go? Where was I at? I did a convention in Pittsburgh. Took 2 planes to get to Detroit. Did an hour-and-a-half show. Did merch. Got to 6 a.m. Was so sick. Never had this. Threw up. Caught my connection in Denver. Did another show. Back to LA. They need to be in the middle of that.
Well, some more managers don't have a salary because they're independent. Is that what you're talking about?
No, a lot of them have salaries.
Well, salaries from a company.
Yeah.
So they work for a company.
The independent ones are great.
The independent ones, which I have had, and that was my best manager.
Exactly.
She
Because
did-
they're
yeah.
hungry.
She did the most. And yeah, they're hungry. I do agree with you on some level, but I also think if there's a big agency that can get you more opportunities because they're part of this big conglomerate, you don't think that helps?
No.
No?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
You've been on different levels than I have.
I'm
so,
telling you, dude.
know.
I'm telling you, they got more lazy.
I can see that.
Here's what it is. There are people popping in our business right now that are homegrown. People popping off podcasts, people popping off self-produced specials, people popping off own independent movies, right? So you can make your own thing. And I think that it's great if the town accepts you, but probably anybody that you really like. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
The man who is one of the biggest in the world right now, that you have the privilege to open for, is a homegrown phenomenon.
Joe Coy.
Who's been doing it probably, 30 years, 25 years?
29.
So he's been doing it forever. You and I know that he's been selling out 10, 12, 15 shows in a row at the clubs and theaters. I don't know if the town realized that, but now he's playing arenas.
Yeah.
That is all him.
Yeah.
No one gave him that. That is all him. Self-produced, self-made.
Yeah.
That is the most beautiful example.
For sure. And I do agree with you because what you said somebody, you got to make it. So what I said this before I did my first special. We always ask ourselves, when am I going to make it? And then I was making my special. I'm like, oh yeah, when am I going to make it?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
He did that smoothie word.
Like, I did my guru.
Gonna make it. What a gift, rappers. Yeah, I know the game.
You watch my content.
Of course.
I appreciate that.
I give you a double tap.
Thank you for double tapping me.
But
no, but it's like you think about that phrase. When am I gonna make it? I have to make it. I have to make that content. I have to make that situation happen, like Joe has done, like you have done. You're a independent producer. Like you produced. Didn't you produce a
oh yeah, no, I've done a lot. Stuff that you like, I've done. Stuff that you like, I've also been cast in. Listen, Scream, I was lucky enough to be cast in, and Romeo and Juliet, and Three Kings, and they're all great. Those opportunities, I can't just sit still though, like in between jobs. That's why I have this energy like you have. We gotta do shit. So that's why I started doing the Jamie Kenny experiment and Malibus and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I've produced a lot. I've helped write some of my stuff, and yeah, I mean, you got to do it. But what I'm saying is, anybody that wants to do it, you just got to kind of make your own way. I mean, and then people will notice you. I mean, look at like Sebastian is another huge comic right now, one of the tops in our game, and he's in The Irishman. So obviously, Martin Scorsese saw his talent. Now he got to see it because he did his own thing. You know what I mean? And it's like people in the regular game will see that you're this undeniable thing and want to work with you.
I think that actually doing your own stuff will help you. Like it's like game recognized game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can see this guy doing what I did.
Yes.
In my career, I know he wants it. I know he's not gonna treat this opportunity lightly. He's going to take it seriously and kill it.
But that goes back to the middle manager, the night supervisor at Walmart. Like, I don't know. What I was going to say to that is like, I used to work at Domino's, and it wasn't a bad job. I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I got to make the most money in the normal world by tips. And so I could use whatever charms I had to basically con people into giving me more money. Is it a con? I don't know. I was being funny. Like when I was like 17, I made like $112 in a shift. That's a lot.
That's a lot for tips.
It's good now, right?
Yeah.
112 in like shifts, right? And I'm like, this is so good. And it was only my desire to perform that I didn't do that anymore. But I could have saw myself managing a Domino's, having my own little store, and I was loving it. And like when I'm on the road, like I got to go to Detroit and play this amazing club on Mark Hughes Comedy Castle, and I did a Sunday night, and I sold about half of my tickets, and it was a good payday because it's a big room and it's one of the best rooms in the country. And I left. I had my little merch, and I made good money, and I was like really happy. I had a meal, And I was like, I'm my own thing, you know? And it was like, I didn't have to rely on anybody else. And that's what I mean on the supervising. And it was like, that was like a cute gig on a Sunday night where I got to pick up a few extra G's.
Yeah.
And got to perform and open up a new market in Detroit. And it's like, that's what I mean. There wasn't any paparazzi there. There wasn't any, it was just me doing the work and the audience enjoying it with me. And it wasn't televised, but it was great.
I love that.
And that's what I mean by that was that work moment. Other ones will be glamorous, but that was still glamorous to me because I got to do it.
It feels good.
Yeah, it felt great.
Yeah. Like the people come out to see you. We were just talking about this before the podcast, is when the people come out to see you, it's a much different experience than when you just show up at a club and you got to win them over. You know?
Yeah, and I was thinking about, it's so funny you say that, because I was thinking about that last night, because I did a show where I was part of a lineup and there was some really good comics on it, and I'm like, now I got to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, why do I do this? Because I could just go out and be me, and people pay to see me. Mm-hmm. But it would be, it is good to go out and to keep testing it, because you need to stay sharp.
Right.
Right? So it's like, it's funny. You can go out, and when people come to see you, it's great. Mm-hmm. And it's easier when they're your fans.
Right.
But when you have to, like, prove them.
Right, that's hard. One thing I keep wanting to ask you about this. I'm just make sure.
What are you looking at?
Oh, shh. We had to pause real quick because I had to make sure I was recording. This is what I wanted to ask you about. Was your other show that you had on TV with Stu Stone.
Blowing up.
Yeah. I always was like, I auditioned to be your DJ.
You did?
Yes. And I didn't get it.
Oh, snap.
But I still remember the beats that I played. So maybe we can use one of those beats for
I remember that, dude.
And I came in, and I don't know if you had turntables set up or if we just played it out of our computer or what. But I played you a beat, and you were like, I like that beat. Go back to that beat. That's dope. Mm-hmm. I remember. And then did you ever have a DJ on it? Did you end up having a DJ?
Joey Nix, but not really. He was just would go on tour with us sometimes.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Okay. But no, I always wanted, like, I looked at what you guys were doing with Blowing Up, and I was like, man, that would be so fun. And, like, I knew that, like, Stu he produced music, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's gone on, I saw his Netflix film on baseball cards. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I always was like, man, I wish, like, I wanted to do that stuff with you guys.
Did you watch the show?
I know I watched the show, yeah. Why do you ask?
Because it came in and went.
It came and it went.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Up.
It blew up. MTV had three. It had the head of MTV had 3 posters in his office.
Yeah.
And he with Rolling Stone covers, and he goes, "This is the Osbournes. This is Punk'd. This is Nick and Jessica." It was all the shows he had done, and there was a 4th slot, and he wrote a sticky note, and he goes, "This is gonna be Jamie and Stu." And I'm like, yeah, right.
The Mount Rushmore.
And so I was like, we're gonna get the cover of Rolling Stone, and I said, how do you know that? And he goes, we tested your show, and it was the best testing show of this season, and people personally love it. And he said, and out of all the shows I worked on, this is like one of like my favorites. He's the sweetest guy. Mm-hmm. And we came out the night like Steve Nash went into like a triple overtime against that in like the finals or semifinals, and then they ended, and the show after us was The Hills.
Oh no.
So it was like we just fucking boop. I think we got 3 episodes on, and it went boop. But I mean, creatively, I worked so hard on it.
Yeah.
People loved it who saw it, but it never really got out of the gate. And people didn't know what to make of it. Was it reality? Was it comedy? It was like a Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
For hip-hop.
You were ahead of your time. You were premature.
Again, I was a little pre.
Mature.
in the knee. But
in the knee.
I remember that a lot of people. One of the girls that was our dancers is a big actress now. There was a lot of people that were kind of involved with that show.
Mm-hmm. And you had an album too.
Yeah, I had an album. It was an actual rap album with Stu, and it was blowing up. And it was like, it was comedy and rap like you do, but it was like, it doesn't mean it can't be good.
Yeah.
It was just people didn't. It was pre Lonely Island. You know what I mean? Like I think Lonely Island kind of set the bar of what but their stuff was always funny. But to me, Lonely Island is just good. You know what I mean? Like I could still nod my head to all their beats.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I love. Yeah.
Yeah, to me, and it's like people forget that early Eminem was still now. I mean, he's funny. Like, Eminem is hilarious, and he's got great beats. But obviously, he's legit. Top MC of all time. So
yeah, that's always the formula that I want to fill is it's funny, but it also has to be good.
Yeah, but we had like catchy, funny, but good beats. And I think the people that kind of did it, like I said, Lonely Island did it great, but also was LMFAO.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They did it right.
People didn't realize that they
were really comedians.
They're like a novelty group, like a funny comedian. Like you listen to their songs,
but so good. Like
yeah,
they're great rappers, but they're great dancers, but they're entertainers. I mean, they kind of people don't realize that how funny they are. They're funny.
Yeah,
and I think they hit it. They did it.
Comedy songs, yeah.
Right?
But they were so good. The music was so good and catchy that people didn't take them as comedy. They took them too seriously, almost. You know what I mean? They took them so seriously that, like, after the couple years that they were super, super hot, I remember they started getting made fun of like, these guys, look at how ridiculous they are in their outfits and their dances.
So good.
But that's exactly what they were saying. They were almost like...
They were
making
meta.
a mockery.
They were.
Yeah.
They were meta. Like, I have nothing but love for them. They went deep in, gave you these funny, catchy songs, but really funny to me first.
Right.
Could dance their asses off, party rock.
Right.
You consumed it, and then you didn't realize that they were doing comedy.
Yeah.
But they are so musically amazing. It's just like, but the way they dress, like they hit and they did it at the perfect time.
I saw Red Foo at what was that, at a laundromat or something? Mm-hmm. And I was like,
doing his own load.
Yeah,
he's a cool dude.
Dropping, or at a dry cleaner,
doing his own, picking his own,
picking up his own stuff.
His own stuff. Okay.
Just cause I'm a star, I can still fold my own drawers. I still turn up at the club after I do all my chores. Throw the trash, sweep the floor, take the dog for a walk. Anti-diva in the cheetah print, pooper scooping the lawn. Yo, I just watched my Bugatti with some models. Oh my gosh, they got suds on their booties and some high heel galoshes. Rims so shiny and the leather so soft, and we rub it in their faces down at the car wash. Cause I'm relatable, everything I got seems attainable. That's right, cause I'm relatable, everything I got seems available. Cause I'm relatable. Got a mansion in the hills with luxurious things, 10,000 square feet, it's a bitch to clean. The whole crew coming over, strapping mops to their feet, and we shuffle and we buff it till the floor gleam, gleam. Got a private chef, and I cook for him on my private jet, and you know I'm piloting a magician in the kitchen, cause I'm friends with Anna Garten. Got a profile coming out in Better Homes and Gardens. Cause I'm relatable, everything I got seems attainable. That's right, cause I'm relatable, everything I got seems available. Cause I'm relatable. Rock that. Rock that.
I wish they would do another album.
I think I heard that they're cousins, right? But they don't get along anymore or something. That sucks.
I think.
In your musical career, did you ever have songs that like didn't come out that you were like, oh, I love that song? I have tons of like that I never put out.
You're much more musical than I am. I think I'm more of a like you play instruments, right?
I figure it out. I don't know how to play anything live.
But you make beats.
Yeah, I make beats and all that.
You're
yeah.
that dude with the headphones and the ones and the twos, fade up, fade down. I've never been that guy.
Yeah.
I've always been like the performer, which you are too.
Right.
And I've just always been about rapping or singing or dancing or doing comedy. So I was never like this pained musician. But if people wrote, like that's why I like Stu, because Stu could write a rap and he would go, okay, this is what you're gonna rap, and he'd be like, this is how you're gonna rap it, and then I would just copy him.
Cool.
And he would set the tracks for me, and it was great, you know.
Oh, that's good.
But it's like there are songs on my album that we did that I think are better, that could have worked. Like we had Cardinal Official. Look him up.
Yeah, from Toronto.
Yeah. And he's on Gaga's stuff. He was on our stuff first.
Yeah.
And then he went to Gaga.
Blowing Up was a stepping stone.
Right?
Yo.
Seriously.
Premature.
Just saying.
Premature.
Just saying. At that time, like we were almost like got to work with Akon, but he wasn't known yet. And we're like, Acorn?
damn.
Who's Acorn? And like he was busy, and then we got busy. We never got together. Then he became. That's what that album was. That's what that album was. A lot of like missteps. Do you know who opened for us though?
Who's that?
A lot of people don't know this. At the Roxy. T-Pain.
Serious?
Yeah, I got the video.
I love that dude.
Yeah.
When you guys did the Roxy in LA and
Yup.
T-Pain opened for you?
T-Pain opened for
Was
us.
he known then?
I knew him, but he wasn't. No, he didn't have the hits yet.
Damn, dude. We
Just
should
remember that shit.
get the group back together.
We could. I bet T-Pain would do it because he's cool as fuck.
do a T-Pain, Stu Stone,
Right?
Akon,
Throw Mickey Avalon and Simon
Ricky
in there.
Avalon,
Why not?
Simon Rex.
That would be a crazy.
I'll turn the volumes up and down.
Dude, the LA Underground. Because there's a whole LA Underground of like kind of hip hop heads.
Yeah,
who are
Cardinal
like-
Official.
Like we're funny. There's like 10 of us that are like into like, you know, Sandberg, Simon Rex, that like really love hip hop, and we rap funny, but we're actually kind of really into it.
I feel like Simon Rex, I love his stuff.
Yeah.
Dirt Nasty, but I feel like he wouldn't like my stuff. I don't know why. I feel like he
You never
wouldn't
know.
like it. I feel
Let's
like
put the show together. Let's put the
Dude.
show together.
I love it because his stuff is dirty and mine's clean. It like I'm innocent and he's dirty.
It's all right.
You know,
We'll put the show together. Put
you
the
never
show
know though.
together.
Man. You know, like I think sometimes we like what we don't do.
Yeah.
Like I love gangster movies.
Yeah.
I like because I don't do that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the other thing I want to ask you is, with regards to stuff like I remember the era with Heckler.
Yeah. I have done a lot of different things like Gemini had. Like all the different things you're noticing, there's like so many different outlets to my career. You're making me remember that. Like Heckler's totally different than rapping, totally different than pranks. Go ahead.
But no, but that was the first time I had ever seen anyone take on critics, which, you know, mean tweets. Again, premature.
Yeah, for real. For real, dude.
Dude, you are the precursor for all the entertainment and comedy. Right
A lot of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of shit, y'all.
Yeah.
So wait, what were we gonna say?
So what? But how do you? And I think that right now what you're doing, I've seen some things where you're taking on the woke movement,
Oh fuck yeah.
and so that's critics basically. Basically, it's critics.
Do you like this joke? Do you know what I tell woke people to do?
What?
Take an Ambien.
Relax a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
Take a
lot of,
muscle relaxer.
sometimes the criticism from people who are quote unquote woke comes from them not suspending their disbelief that
what you're saying, on the surface could be taken as racist or sexist or whatever, but because you're saying it in a comedic format, the context of it is, as if this were acceptable. And that's why it's funny.
Well, yeah, but wait, what was your question? I want to.
So
do you like where I'm going in my comedy now? It's important to me.
Yes, I do.
If you don't, it's okay.
You're expressing yourself, and
Yes.
that's
I
what
appreciate it, 'cause I
the
value
most
it.
that anyone could ever ask.
Okay.
I think is a true expression of self.
Yes.
And that's something that I aspire to do more. Mm-hmm. And that's this podcast actually is helping me with that. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying in the topic of critics, how do you deal with that, and how have you learned how to deal with that over the years?
It's like a two-parter. First, we'll talk about the heckler and the critics, and then we can talk about the woke stuff.
Okay.
Well, it's very painful. It's not as painful as it was, but I think all roads converged at the same time for me, and why that happened. So I tell the story. I'll be very quick about it. It was doing my first special, working with a director, and he started filming me so we could work on bits and say, work on this. And we would get some interaction with the audience, some heckles and stuff, and obviously those are the funniest things. I mean, those live moments, And most of the times I would serve them. Sometimes they would serve me. I don't think enough people realize that sometimes an audience member can serve you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so we started putting them together, and we're like, do we have something here? And he's like, I think so. And then we started interviewing people, getting other heckles, and that's how it was born. But at the time, the internet was around 2005. Blog.com was big. People could write their own review sites, which was never before. It was like the New York Times and the Village Voice, and that was it. Video was buffering a lot, but slowly going out. You had Earls. YouTube was just being born. And so you had all of these, it was the first time when I did a music video. It would go on YouTube, and there was something called Something Back. Remember what they were?
Something back?
What was a term for it back
What
in the
did it
day?
do?
You would do a video, and then people would, I don't know, they do it reaction videos now.
Feedback?
They were playback videos or whatever. They would play your song or your comedy clip, and then they would do a version of it. That never existed before 2005.
Right.
No one could go, you couldn't put a scene on the internet alone, let alone, and then have people go, yo, Smoothie, and then rap with you.
Oh, yeah.
If people heard your song on the radio, they would be in a car in Minnesota and you wouldn't see them doing it. Mm-hmm. Well, YouTube changed all that, right?
Right.
So that's all of blogging, the internet, heckling, people getting tools to be empowered came at the moment. And it felt like a critic, and me becoming a star, leading movies, and becoming a thing. 6 things happened at once. And it all converged on my fucking head.
Yeah.
And it was IMDb also had comments. I don't know if you remember about actors.
Yeah. Right.
And it was so you start reading all this stuff because what did I tell you? I like to go in for the love and this and that. And it's just he's a piece of human garbage. He's, you should. And so it's all of these different things that were said about me. And I was like, whoa, this is so intense.
Yeah.
And wafflemovie.com and 2.5 Waffles and all of these different things came at me at once. So it was a lot to deal with. And I, as a comedian, I believe we have a sense of people pleasing in us.
For sure.
And so I'm I'm not pleasing a lot of people.
Well, when you're doing it for the love and you're getting hate,
yes,
it's antithesis of what you want.
I got to explore this. So then I started exploring who these people were, what they were, and I realized that a lot of them didn't have the life I had. And I thought, okay, they're just they're kind of haters. Mm-hmm. Some of them had some good points, which I could listen to.
Right.
Most of them were haters. And then as I got older and I just realized they're just not into me. And that's okay. And now I'm at a place to answer the second part of the question is I had to do that to explore it. And also I think the community and I think the people that like it really like the movie, and it was an exploration of what that is and who they are. Now we're in a beautiful place. There is no reason for you to. I got this. I'm going to make it a bit, but tell me if you're on this train with me. There is never a time or a reason right now for Smoothie to ever get criticized.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Why?
I'm going to go down. I'm going to try to make it so simple. We are able to touch everyone now through the internet. And so I believe if you go into this world, you will minimally find a million Smoothie fans.
Yes. Okay.
No doubt.
I love it.
So the ability to do that is what you said earlier, is you can just play. You don't have to struggle anymore to play for people that don't like you. There are so many people that appreciate you. You just have to find them.
Yeah.
Because with the internet, when my fans come out, they just love being with me.
Right.
And hanging with me. So because anyone can get anything they want now, you can listen to any artist you want on Spotify, watch any clip that you want of somebody on YouTube, any podcast on iTunes. You can literally block out what you don't like. So anyone who actively finds you, you could consider them trolling. Like because there's enough for everyone now.
Right.
So if you don't like it, just go over there. Like, people can consume what they want.
So are you saying that criticism has lessened because now people just go to what they want and ignore what they don't want?
Criticism has been disrupted.
I love that. Because, people still do have the ability to criticize you. So
They shouldn't.
They shouldn't do it.
No, because somebody who doesn't like something, I guarantee somebody will like it. Have you seen what people are into?
That's true.
There are so many subsects of cultures and different things and what people are into. I mean, people dress up as furries. There's so many different types of people into so many groups.
Yeah.
That it's like, man, this is what I'm into.
Yeah.
All you got to do is find like-minded individuals.
But when you said it, it sounded like you said nobody should criticize you, right? Nobody should, but people still might.
Critical, what is that thought? What is that word? Like constructive
criticism.
Do this, do that. Like Flip Schultz.
Uh-huh.
No matter what I'm doing, will always watch my act. I don't care if he's drunk. I don't care if he's sober. I don't care if he's eating burrito. He's just always been one of these beautiful people that will watch my act and I will see the fucking pen go out.
Yeah.
Whether I'm doing a TV show.
He does that to me too.
Or a set in the back of the Ha-Ha, 1 a.m., the pen's out and he's like, and I'm like, can I just do a set? But
it's a compliment from him.
Oh God, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because that's his way of loving. It's also his outlet. He knows that he's like, and he's a master at fixing things, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what he loves comedy and jokes so much. So he'll go, you could try this. And so that is what we call beautiful, constructive help. That's not even criticism. Like, I'll have a joke kill, and Flip will go, that's great. You could try this too. He's just
construction.
He just always wants to add one on. Okay,
right.
That's what we call beautiful. That's love. That is like somebody doing it because he can't stop himself.
Right.
If somebody's telling a joke at a register at Walgreens, Flip would get the pen out. All right, let me tell you how you could have did that better, right?
That announcement could have been a little bit better.
Because that's how he is. It's his makeup. It's beautiful, right?
Say aisle 7 at the end so that people know where to go.
Yes.
And don't forget. Yeah.
But somebody's sitting there just going, no pen, and like,
yeah.
that's not constructive, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, did that make sense?
Yeah.
So
it's
what I want to add to that is that we have the ability, if you think of the world as Netflix, what's in your queue, man?
Right.
So if you don't like smoothie, bounce.
Right.
You're not hurting anybody. Now, obviously, if you're doing something wrong, you're hurting other people, yes. But I'm saying you are doing funny, well-crafted rap songs, lighthearted, like, early Fresh Prince, right?
Yeah, I'm a little edgier, but yes.
Yeah, a little edgier. Dude, Will Smith, come on.
No, but
Summertime, there's some good.
There's some edge.
Yeah. So, it's okay. I love it. I consume it.
Right.
If people don't, they don't. So what I'm saying is, because you have the ability to get anything you want at any time, there's no reason to say the criticism existed because people were putting their hard-earned dollars and they would put an ad in the paper and they would say, well, if you want to go to this movie this weekend, this is what I recommend. Because that was the only fucking movie in that motherfucking movie theater. Well, now you can get a movie on your shoe.
Right. It's like, it's your fault if you don't like it. That's I've got.
It's not your fault.
Right.
It's just that you don't have to go. You have a billion choices.
Right.
So why spend your time shitting on me?
Yeah. It's like, if you're still here,
Does that make sense?
that's your fault.
Yes.
It's like you go to a restaurant, you hate the food. Why do you stay?
Yes, we have abundant choices.
Right.
We have Disney Plus, we have YouTube, Netflix, YouTube Red, Crackle, Vudu, Roku.
Crackle.
So many things. If you don't like it, move on.
That's true, man.
There's no reason to shit on me, right? I guess because it's like I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know if I totally was clear, but it really does make sense to me. It's like
you're the chef. You're making what you make.
somebody's going to consume it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I love that. I feel like,
I think it's disrupted.
That's an evolution, I think, in your thought process a lot too. Criticism's going to exist no matter what.
Oh, 100%.
I believe it has been disrupted. That's a really cool, I like that thought. I've never heard that before.
Well, because like last night I did a show and there was 10 comics and people came to who they came to see, right?
Yeah.
So that's different. Mm-hmm. But if you're coming to pay for a Jamie Kennedy show,
yeah, Jamie Kennedy's on the menu.
you know what it is.
Exactly. I just got to say, man, it's I've learned so much just from talking to you, man.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. And going through, I could talk to you for another hour, dude. But
Thank you.
dude, no, thank you for enlightening us.
Thank you.
And just having a good time, man. That's what it's all about.
Dude, thank you for having me. I'm a big fan.
Jamie Kennedy, self-made entrepreneur, making his own specials, making his own tour. He was punking fools before MTV and owning hecklers before they had mean tweets. Now he's back to his roots with his mic in his hand and adapting to a new understanding. He's the next big thing on his own timeline. He isn't premature, he's just
Ahead of his time.